Turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro electro tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Retro Ernest of Retro Electrotech, and I'm back with the 9G by Kenwood to service the controls in depth. And I'm not going to get into that because, again, this is another one of those videos where I have to dive in deep, into the controls. All of these receivers and amps, some worse than others, need this type of servicing. It's commonplace stuff, so that's why I repeat and repeat and repeat with this stuff. So that's just the way it is, and nothing glamorous there. That's just part of working on all of this vintage gear. So you can see I got these boards out here. There's a big old selector switch with stacks of wafers, multiple wafers there. That's already been thoroughly flushed. Same with this source switch here, and here's our volume control and balance control up here that have been thoroughly flushed. So like I say, at the very least, with all of this equipment that's decades old, that has rough controls that are causing problems with noise and intermittent behavior as far as the signal is concerned. Sometimes you'll have some cutting in and out on one channel or the other, sometimes even both, that involve really filthy controls. These controls were pretty bad. I demonstrated that in the evaluation video. I had a very problematic auxiliary switch, if I remember correctly, and I haven't gone in yet and gained access to the switches. I have access to the switches, but what I mean by gaining access is some of them are going to need to be drilled out because they are sealed, those type of switches, and then I'm going to inject a cleaner and then follow up with lubricant. Okay, same old stuff as always. Then also too, another thing that I want to point out is these four potentiometers here for the tape level controls that are mounted on this board. They're sealed pots, so I had to end up pulling the phenolic, little phenolic boards out of them here, and so that I can get to the resistive tracks. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So anywho, what I have to do is just go in here with some cotton swabs, and just let me demonstrate real quick how I do this. By the way, those pots, those four pots solder to this board here. So I'll get a swab with some anhydrous alcohol, and it does a good job. It has enough bite to, and then just clean the carbon tracks here, the resistive tracks. And then after I'm done doing all four of these, and the wipers too, the little wiper contact, and here you can see the little wiper contacts and all that. I'm going to go in here and really clean them up nicely. I'll probably even use my little scratch pin very gently and just lightly buff out the wiper contacts. While I'm in here, I might as well just go for broke and do a very, very thorough job, since I went through the hassle of getting all this pulled apart anyways, and that's kind of what you do. So I'm going to finish that up, and then I will, same thing, get a little swab with just a dab or two of fader lubricant, and just brush it on the track. Just a light little coating, and then these will be sealed up again and ready to go. I decided to roll this little section here because maybe this might prove to be helpful to somebody when you're cleaning controls when they're disassembled pots, and you have the let me get in here. When you have this little wiper contact here, you see these two wiper contacts. They're very springy. Well, sometimes when you're going to clean them, whether you use a swab and some contact cleaner and hydrous alcohol, or a scratch pin like I'm about to do, you've got to be careful that you don't snag on them and bend them, or, you know, because of the fact that they are springy and bouncy. So I always put something under them, and let me make sure I'm not blocking the view here. In this case, you can see I have this this little pick here, and I just go right under the wiper contacts here, and you see the way I'm resting that right there. And then I can get my in this case I'm using the scratch pin here, and then and you got to be careful not to bend everything. So hold that steady, and then this is going to block the view real quick, but you'll get the point. I'm going to come down on those contacts there, and the point is I have support under them, so they're not going to be bouncing around or bending or anything like that. Then I'll bring the scratch pin in there, and I know this is in the shot, but I'm getting in here and I'm just buffing out. You probably saw how dirty those were too, how tarnished. Just bear with me, I know my big fat fingers are in the way. But now notice how clean they are. I just buffed them out real quick, and then that way, you know, I didn't bend them, you know, push them down and bend them. I held them steady with this support under them and buffed them out nice and shiny. And that's usually what I'll do when I'm working with those wiper contacts. I'll put something under them just to support them and keep them you know, keep them stable while I'm either using a swab and contact cleaner, or in this case, you know, buffing them out with my scratch pin. So hopefully that information is useful, and I just wanted to, you know, zoom back on in and kind of show you that, since we were on the subject of cleaning these controls. So once I get all of these controls serviced and the board's cleaned and everything looking good, that's really all that was going on, was just really bad controls. So once I get that done, I will come back and we'll just do an audio test and, you know, get it hooked up to the scope, do an audio test and all that jazz. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, guys and gals, well, it's all done, and the only thing I didn't mention was, in order to gain access to all the push button switches, I had to, you know, once I had the main panel off here, there's the dial face, or dial plate, a big plastic dial plate that I had to remove, and the lamp housing behind it, and that lamp housing had to be, you know, swung back out of the way. And then I had access to the tops of all the switches. Good enough. So that's all done. So anyways, I have some YouTube music queued up. I'm not going to demonstrate the tuner because, you know, it's working, and, you know, because of the copyright stuff and all that, I don't want to deal with that. So anyways, I have a kind of a backwoodsy kind of Deliverance kind of tune queued up, so you might want to run and hide, or you might be squealing like a pig. So anyways, let's go ahead and I'll just play this, and then we'll end it. I kind of like that. It was bringing out the hill person in me. So anyways, that's about it. You know, everything is looking good so far based on the amount of work that, you know, I was able to do. And maybe down the road, this is a good candidate for a recap, of course, when I have the time and if the customer wants to bring it back. But I solved the problem that it was brought in for, and good enough for now. So anyways, I'm going to end it here, guys. And as I always say, peace, love, music, and the vintage audio that brings it to your ears. Till next time.
This is a poor man's shoe production.